Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Mary Beth Enslin, and I am a certified health coach with Take Shape for Life. Welcome to our weekly meeting of Simply Balanced. So the goal of these calls is really to share information and to teach you how to create health in your life. So we are teaching from the Living a Longer, Healthier Life, which is the companion guide to Dr. A's Habits of Health. Tonight we're going to actually be doing lesson 13, which relates to chapter 17 in the Habits of Health book. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be some exciting stuff tonight. So as a team, we recognize that everyone learns a little bit differently. So some people learn from reading books, others learn by listening, and others learn through visualization. So the goal of these calls is really just to provide a fun and easy way to learn and understand some of the habits of health. So I want to mention that you don't need to be on every call, but the lessons do build on each other. So that being said, we hope you find a lot of value in the call tonight and really think that the 30 minutes on this call is spent wisely. So we definitely encourage you to come back and to invite your family and friends and all your loved ones to future calls. So each 30-minute call is basically the same. We have an introduction followed by a 15 to 20 minute presentation, and then we have some time for question and answers at the end. So if you do have questions during the talk, you can use the chat feature, the chat bubble at the bottom of the screen, and you can just click on that and type your question in there. You can direct it just to me if you would like, or you can direct it to everyone, and then we'll try to make sure that we cover all of those at the end of the presentation. So as I said, tonight's lesson is lesson 13, which is the discipline of healthy sleep. Great topic for tonight. So your presenter for tonight is Kate Carrifio, and she is a certified health coach as well. So Kate, take it away.
All right, thanks, Beth. All right, I do have to chuckle because you said it was going to be exciting. We're talking about sleep, and as exciting as it is to get, it's really not super exciting, and I'll tell you why. When I actually started preparing for the lesson on Christmas because we had some downtime and it was beautiful. I live in Florida and I'm sitting outside and I'm like reading the chapter on sleep, and I started falling asleep to the point that I actually had to go and lay down on a lounge chair outside, and I took about a 2-hour nap. So I'm really not sure how exciting this is, but I'll do the best I can. But as Beth said, the discipline of healthy sleep is one of the healthy habits. Okay, so it's something that we definitely want to get enough of. And the chapter that's related to in the book, the one that I actually fell asleep to, is called Sleep, Nature's Nurse. Okay, so that kind of sums it up right there, and the importance of sleep. So what I found interesting was in the middle of, up until the middle of the 20th century, most scientists, they just believed that sleep was just an inactive state of little or no value. I mean, it just really wasn't important. And, even today, most of us view sleep, it's really more of an inconvenient luxury that one that sometimes gets in the way of work and of watching TV and just other things that we want to do. As much as we may love it, somehow we manage to do without. All right. So what we now know is that the lack of this restorative sleep is leading many of us into a non-sick state prematurely. And like unhealthy eating and the lack of movement, it is really degrading our health. So sleep, it helps to restore our organ function. There's so many things that sleep does. It restores our organ function. It stabilizes our chemical imbalance. It refreshes areas of the brain that control mood and behavior. Replenishes nutrients, repairs brain circuitry. I remember when my daughter was young, and the only time she was miserable was when she was tired or hungry. But tired makes us all cranky. So sleep, it's essential in keeping our bodies healthier. They're able to bounce back easier from stress and the pollutants that affect our daily life. It even assists in healthy weight management. And, when I started learning more and more about sleep, that is, through the Habits of Health, that's when I really try to make it a mission to get enough sleep. Not that I do, but I'm conscious of it. So I'm going to ask a few questions, and what I want you to do is I want you to track your yes answers. Okay, this isn't supposed to be super complicated, so you can just use, your hands. Count your yeses. Okay, so do you wake up tired in the morning? Do you need a nap in the afternoon? Do you fall asleep watching TV? Do you have frequent small accidents at home or large ones on the road? Do you have trouble focusing on the job? Do you find yourself sleepy after lunch? Do you have trouble figuring the correct change from a purchase? Do you feel irritable or depressed most of the time? Do you feel like you're not getting anything done? Do you drink alcohol to get to sleep? Do you drink several cups of coffee or energy drinks to stay awake? Do you have difficulty falling asleep? And do you have difficulty staying asleep? Okay, so you don't need to tell me your answers, but if you answered yes to 3 or more, you're probably not getting enough of the kind of sleep that you need to support your health. But don't worry, we're here to help. We're going to try. Okay, so at least to help keep, maybe to give you some ideas, and just to kind of keep that in the back of your head. Okay, so a little bit about the lack of sleep. Okay, so getting too little sleep really disturbs our appetite regulation. It gives sleep deficiency the potential of being a major factor in obesity. When you're sleep deprived, your body excretes ghrelin, and you nurses might be able to give more information on that later, but it's a hormone that increases appetite, and less leptin, which is really the substance that tells you when to stop eating. Okay, so your immune system also needs sleep in order to repair, recharge, and do the necessary maintenance to keep out all those intruders. And skimming on sleep can make you more susceptible to disease. What I found this very interesting was that fewer than 6 hours of sleep can raise your risk of viral infection by 50%. So, the season we're in, right? Cold and flu season, not enough sleep, you can raise the risk of that viral infection 50%. So researchers also discovered that the lack of sleep can raise your blood levels of the inflammatory activators. And this can cause heart disease, and the constant inflammation can actually lead to cancer, premature aging, and other negative consequences. All right, so too little sleep. What is that? That is defined as 7 hours a night, okay? And with that, as I mentioned, it can cause the anxiety symptoms, moodiness, depression, and the overuse of alcohol. How big is this problem? Anybody want to guess? This I thought was astounding. In the United States, it's expected to be 50 to 70 million. That's a lot of people, right, that are suffering from this sleep. So here's this I thought was very interesting. Back in 1951, there was an inquisitive graduate student at the University of Chicago. I'd kill him, but he hooked his own son up to a brainwave monitor to observe his sleep. He thought it was interesting, I guess. And he noticed the different spikes of his brain activity, which really led him to coin the term REM, the rapid eye movement, because he was able to see the rapid eye movement. His research actually was really one of the first that identified that sleep is in a 90-minute cycle. So a lot of our sleep studies today are based around his findings. Like I said, I'm not real happy if I was his wife, but it's okay. So there are 4 stages of sleep followed by the REM sleep. And as I mentioned, each one of those, that whole package, right, the 4 stages plus REM is 90 minutes. So we really experience 4 to 6 cycles. But the REM sleep, the most important, that's where we're most sensitive, okay? So it's very easy for interruption. And one of the big things is sleep apnea, because when you have sleep apnea, it prevents that deep sleep that you need. So I want to talk about why we get sleepy. So we have a pineal gland. Once again, our nurses on the call might be able to give a little more information on that. But that releases the substance called melatonin, which many of us have heard of, right? Melatonin. There's, you can buy melatonin pills and whatever, which is natural. Okay. But this naturally makes you drowsy. And really it's between the hours of midnight and 7 a.m. So, and it's a powerful neurotransmitter that sets your body up for sleep because it starts cooling down the temperature. It lowers your metabolic rate, and it really moves you into that sleep latency state. Okay. When you're young, your bodies produce a lot of melatonin. You might see little kids, right? They're running, and they're just nonstop. And next thing you know, they're like, they like drop like a fly. Well, their melatonin just it's like goes right up. It's done. But as we age, our levels drop off. And by the time we're 60, we have lost over 80% of our automatic melatonin, which I just thought was incredible. Okay. So you might remember, I remember these days back when I was 20, and we had a lot of melatonin. We could sleep wherever, right? If we ended up at a friend's house, we'd sleep on their couch, wherever. It just came naturally. And now, some of us are a little bit older and times have changed. I know I certainly can't just go sleep on a friend's couch and have a great night's sleep. Because what's worked before for us doesn't necessarily work now, as we get a little bit older. So we actually need to become an active participant in creating healthy sleep patterns, which it kind of sounds comical, right? We're going to be active participate in our sleep patterns, but we do. That's the bottom line. Melatonin goes away. Now we have to work. So a couple of things we need to do, right? What we really need to know is how much sleep do we get? Okay. So in the book, this book, Dr. A's Habits of Health, okay, on page 216, there is a sleep assessment. We're not going to go through it now, but it's just something that you probably should look at. Okay. But there's different questions that will help determine how much sleep you get and how restful your sleep is. Okay. So that was page 216. So I use a Fitbit. I have this, I think it's the Charge HR. And what I love about this, it tracks my sleep. So I don't have to do anything. I go to bed, and when I wake up, I take a look at it, and it tells me how long I slept. It tells me how many times I was restless. It tells me how much sleep I actually got, how many times I was awake. And I find that very interesting. And once again, I do that because I am striving to get, 7 hours sleep. But that's why I always know I fall short. but I'm conscious of it, which is important. Okay. So, so we're going to track, we want to need to know how much sleep we get, but then we want to track the quality of our sleep. Okay. So on page 217 in the book, there's more questions. And some of the questions are, what time did you get into bed last night? What time did you get out of bed? What hours did you actually sleep? Okay. And then we evaluate our sleep quality. So how much sleep do we get, the quality, and then we're going to evaluate it. And when you evaluate the sleep quality, it's, when are you lacking sleep? Okay. Do you nap? Do you have a harder time getting up in the morning? And when you follow a sleep log, which there's one in the appendix, and that just really, you can see the progression. I mean, maybe you sleep better, Tuesday through Saturday, and Sunday you sleep like crap, thinking that you have to get up and go to work Monday. That's actually very common. But we really want to improve that quality of sleep. And one of the things that we need to find out is, are you a lark or an owl? What is your chronotype? Okay, so the lark, that's the early bird, right? Early bird catches the worm. Some people are the night owls. And it's just interesting when what you are. So if you're a lark, which I consider myself a lark, the morning, so after the melatonin peaks, it declines rapidly. So I wake up faster. When you're an owl, they say that the melatonin declines more slowly and it takes you longer to get up. That's, but really I think, if you're a morning person or you're a night person, and it's by knowing that, people make their decisions about what they're going to do around that. So we're asked actually to improve our bedtime routine and environment. And what we can do is set a bedtime. Okay, so what the suggestion is, know what time you need to get up and then count backwards. And they say women, should have 7 hours and men should have 8. So when you know what time you need to get up, back into what time you need to go to bed. Now, this is a guideline, of course, not set in stone. You really need to do what's optimal for you. Okay, but the important thing is trying to keep that same pattern every day. And for me, I don't do that, and I'll tell you why. Because I get up at 5:15 Monday through Friday. So on Saturday, there is no way I want to get up at 5:15 in the morning. So I go against this advice, but I think it's for good. I think it's for my own good. So, but if you get up at a reasonable time, then you really want to try to do that even on the weekends. Okay, it's just setting a routine, and then with that routine, in the morning, when your alarm goes off or when it's time to get up, get out of bed. Don't hit snooze a couple times, and know that you can keep hitting snooze because you're not getting any more restful sleep. Right? You're not giving yourself a 90-minute window. So just get up. Limit the caffeine, eat responsibly, and don't take naps. Okay? That's the recommendations. Now at nighttime, okay, you want to decrease the stimulation, right? Where you really don't want to be on the computer and then close your eyes. You want to eliminate the cell phone use. Okay, minimize your liquid intake. Many of us probably know that. We're trying to be healthy. We're drinking a lot of water. We really need to cut back. I found that I really try to stop drinking. A little after dinner time, because if not, I'm up several times in the middle of the night, and that affects your sleep. Okay, so you want to avoid exercise within 2 hours of bedtime. Take your medications. Avoid alcohol within 90 minutes of bedtime. Okay, so sometimes you just want to take a drink and then go to bed. It's not recommended. Okay, and we've heard this, I'm sure, for many, many, many years. Don't go to bed mad. Right? Resolve any family issues. And it is amazing at how, because when you're upset and you go to bed, you kind of replay that over and over, and it really does prohibit sometimes the restorative sleep that you need. So you want to prepare your bedroom, okay? So it really should be visually calming. It should be mentally relaxing, stress-free. What you don't want to do is, if you work from home, sitting in bed working on your bed with your computer, and then putting your computer aside and trying to go to sleep. It's really not the best environment. Okay, so try to keep the work out of the bedroom. If you can read a book while you're in bed if you think that's going to help relax you, but put a time limit on it. I know myself. I've guilty of this in the past. And I know many are, that they're reading a good book, and next thing you know, it's 3 a.m. And then you can't sleep because you got to finish the book, So put a time limit on it, and maybe try to read a relaxing book, okay? Or you can read the chapter on sleep. That works. It'll put you to sleep. But you want to prepare yourself as well, okay? You want to take time to wash your face, floss, brush your teeth. They say that taking a shower or bath at night really it's helpful because it reduces your body temperature, and that is a very good state to put you in for sleep. Wearing loose fitted pajamas. And when you get into bed, one of the suggestions is you can meditate, breathing exercises, yoga. I'm not sure yoga in bed, but that was one of the suggestions. Reading a book, once again, if you put a time limit on it. And the goal is to let your body just drift off naturally, okay? So the book did offer some bedroom suggestions. One is about the color. So, soothing colors. Pastels are great, but so are the rich, warm, dark colors. So I think it's really a personal preference. I'm guessing that bright green and bright purple might not be considered a soothing color, but to each their own. Maybe it's soothing to someone. The light. It's suggested that you put your lights on a dimmer and use the lowest setting. Okay, now I'm sure during the day you keep it on high if you want, but when you're getting up and when you're going to sleep, to keep that at a low setting. And when you're sleeping, completely dark, okay, free of moonlight, free of the glowing clocks and electrical devices, which I think is hard, because people need to have clocks in the room. What I found, just a suggestion that works, is I use eye shades now, which I never did before, but I use the eye shades so that it blocks the light out from me. And I also, with my Fitbit, I actually have the silent alarm on there, so I don't have to see the clock. Drawback, or good thing, there is no snooze on your Fitbit. So when it goes off, you get up. And at first, I really wasn't sure I was going to trust it. I'm thinking there's no way this little vibration on my arm is going to wake me up. But I was wrong. But in the meantime, I did set my phone to go off 2 minutes after. But the Fitbit, when you set a silent alarm, it actually waits to the perfect time to wake you up. So if I have it set for 5:15, it might wake me up at 5:17 if I'm in a better place to be woken up, which I just think that's pretty cool. So that's a great thing. The scent, you can have some aromatherapy scents, chamomile, jasmine, lavender. Cautious, make sure it's not too heavy of a scent, make sure you're not allergic to it, things like that. Your bed, you want to make sure you have the right level of firmness, and every person is different, okay? When you use a pillow, though, you want to make sure that your spine is aligned naturally, okay? When you use a pillow, you're not supposed to be sitting up straight, that's not what's recommended. But once again, if you have back issues, whatever you need to do. Temperature, not too hot, not too cold. The far and fared quilts, I might have said that wrong, but that's, I guess that automatically keeps you cool. They have sheets and pillows and quilts that are all made with the same material, which just help regulate your body temperature. Ventilation, 68 degrees is what's recommended. And, in the winter in the north, I bet that's fantastic. In Florida, I can't even imagine being 68 degrees on a year-round basis. My electric bill would be through the roof, and my husband would shoot me. So we keep ours a little warmer, but I guess, but that is recommended. I know many people, when they travel and go to hotels, they do keep it much cooler there because they're not paying for the electric bill, and they probably sleep really well. So, and the other thing is the clutter. And, we've all heard about, just clutter. It doesn't do well for us in any mental state. So cleaning out that clutter, and, it's suggested that you do clean it. If you, come in, you put some stuff down, put it away before you even start your bathroom routine, just so that when you come out of the bathroom, you can just go to bed. You don't have to start fiddling with stuff at that point. So, as I mentioned, none of these ideas are new to you, right? My guess is they're not, but hopefully it helps to reinforce the quality of sleep and the importance of it. And, if you don't get a minimum of 7 to 8 hours, I think that's the norm. As we said, 50 to 70 million people struggle with this. But if you keep it in mind and focus on it, and hopefully, just strive and think about it versus, back in the day, it's like, if I get 2 or 3 hours, I'm good, but we try, right? Because this is the time that it's restoring our brain waves, and it's, helping our organs, and it's really a key factor in helping us maintain a healthy weight. And that was the biggest factor for me. And that's something that I constantly think about. It's like, wait, I don't want to gain any weight back. I need to get more sleep. So, but anyway, that's it. That is chapter 13. So I hope you found it somewhat useful, and I hope I didn't put you to sleep. and if I did, you can use the recording every night. Oh, yours, Beth.
I'm still awake, Kate. All good.
Awesome.
Hey, you know what? One of the things I remember hearing about, what are your thoughts on that a lack of sleep is probably one of the most effective ways to torture somebody?
Yeah, I did. That is something that is amazing. Yes. there was something in the book about that, and it made me think of, they used to call it the Chinese water torture, where they drop the water. And I think that, lack of sleep, probably goes right up there with it, because you can't make good decisions when you have, you can only run on lack of sleep for so long.
Right.
So.
Right. It is so important. It really does leads into things that you were talking about, how it affects your personality as well. You can't think right.
Right. Exactly.
So, one question came in, you had talked about melatonin and how the reason that people wake up is because of the changes in melatonin.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just take melatonin?
Yeah, I mean, you can take melatonin, and I know we have several nurses on the call, but I know that there's all kinds of melatonin supplements to assist in, and they say it's not healthy, but it helps in increasing that in your body, and it's a natural way to sleep. I don't know if anyone has a comment about it that they want to add.
I do know some people who have taken it, and especially when people travel back and forth from Europe or whatever, when they come back, they've taken it, and it helps them that first night to get a good night's sleep again. But you take it and then you go to bed.
Oh, does it work as like a sleeping aid? I mean, I think
it just helps.
Have you ever taken it? I have not.
I have not taken it. I haven't needed to, but
okay.
I would. And there's one of the comments is that somebody who didn't sleep for a really long time, how they can create a psychosis, and we've seen that certainly in hospitals. So one other question came in. What if somebody has a routine that they typically use, that whole bedtime routine, but they still can't fall asleep? Any recommendations?
Yeah. Actually, great question. I know it happens to me as well. There's those nights that, you do everything you're supposed to, you follow the routine and you go to bed and you lay there and your mind's wandering or your eyes are just for some reason wide awake and you can't sleep. Well, it's recommended that after 20 minutes, you just get up and whether you just go walk around the house, or just get a little glass of water, just something to change the routine, and then try it again. But, you might be able to, if you're really wide awake, maybe you can take a quick shower or a quick bath or something, but don't lay there, and just keep thinking, I should be sleeping, because you might find that just the, 5-minute out of bed doing something and you can go back and try it again. So
awesome. Great advice. Well, listen, we're just about it. 30 minutes done. Thanks, Kate. Great. Lesson 13 is done. So we hope everybody enjoyed tonight's presentation. Hopefully you got a lot of great information. I know I'm excited to, take on some of those suggestions. Next week, we're going to do lesson 14, which is actually called Habits of Help and Helping. And it's related to chapter 18 in Dr. A's Habits of Health. So please be sure to come back and invite your family and friends and anyone you think who might benefit from that. So that's it for tonight. So let me just end with saying, stay simply balanced. And remember, healthy choices, healthy you. Have a great night, everybody.